How's it hanging, dudes? My name is Sean, and welcome back to Humanity First and another Andrew Yang upload. Man, 2 in 1 day. Isn't that sweet? Now, today is not really going to be me as the main feature of today's video. If you guys remember back, let's see here. If you guys remember back to the Elon Musk supports Andrew Yang and why it's important video, the futurist has asked to come back and make a video for us. And he's going to be talking about how Pete Buttigieg is less like Obama and Yang actually is. Of course, we know Obama's out there talking about UBI and really mirroring a lot of the stuff that Andrew Yang really is talking about. We just had Elizabeth Warren come out and talk about how a basic income would be good and empowering for Americans. And like Andrew Yang said, a lot of people start sounding just like him, you know, later on into the race. And now a lot of people, the media particularly, want to compare Pete Buttigieg to Obama. Really, I think it's only because Goldman Sachs was the one backing him, you know. But as you know, if you're going to be an establishment candidate, that's how it goes, right? And well, let's go ahead and let futurists actually explain to you guys why it's better why it's better that Yang is compared to Obama than Pete Buttigieg. I think he makes a good case. So give him some good feedback. Let him know what he can do to improve, and maybe we can have him back on the channel again. But I did tell him that. If he wants to have this shout out and wants to upload on this channel, he's got to get his channel off the ground, guys. You guys got to go over here and subscribe, and he's got to upload more content. He's actually going to be doing a lot of automation stuff, and it's really cool. We need more channels like this. We need more tech based channels to cover automation as it takes over humans, literally taking over humans, and nobody covers that, and he's doing that. He needs to upload more than once a week though, so you guys go give him some love, and let's go ahead and let him convince us. You know, I think we're already convinced, but you know what I'm saying. Anyways, let's roll the clip.
Good morning, America. I am the futurist putting humanity first, and we are going to be talking about Andrew Yang, Obama, Pete Buttigieg, Joe Biden, and we're just going to jump right into it. So, presidential candidate Andrew Yang supports universal basic income, and as you can tell from my previous video and one newer video, it's on my channel. It's a bit old now, but I didn't get the chance to talk about it here. That video is basically talking about McDonald's basically automating away jobs and giving me a more reason to look into having universal basic income, hopefully help those workers, because when you get rid of a drive-thru and you have, like, literally millions of locations, that's millions of jobs, don't you think? Probably even higher than that, because you would have to have cover positions, you know. There's not always full-time workers. You might have part-time people doing that, but if you want to see that video, be sure to stick around to the end card, and I will hopefully have humanity first put at the end there if he remembers, but if he doesn't, then you can always just click on my channel if you see my comment down below, and that should be the first video that pops up there until I work on the next big thing. So to start things off here, I like to talk about universal basic income because that's something that's really important to me that other candidates aren't pushing this besides Andrew Yang. You have to consider this. Like, for me, I personally believe that Andrew Yang's ideals, policies are far more similar to President Barack Obama than the likes of Pete Buttigieg, and also former Vice President Joe Biden. So, I'm going to play you a clip here. This is Obama speaking at the Nelson Mandela Annual Lecture in South Africa. And in this clip, former President Barack Obama actually endorses the idea of providing universal basic income, so we're going to jump right over to that clip.
While the outsourcing of jobs from north to south, from east to west, while a lot of that was a dominant trend in the late 20th century, the biggest challenge to workers in countries like mine today is technology. And the biggest challenge for your new president, when we think about how we're going to employ more people here, is going to be also technology, because artificial intelligence is here and it is accelerating. And you're going to have driverless cars, and you're going to have more and more automated services. And that's going to make the job of giving everybody work that is meaningful tougher. And we're going to have to be more imaginative. And the pace of change is going to require us to do more fundamental reimagining of our social and political arrangements to protect the economic security and the dignity that comes with a job. It's not just money that a job provides. It provides dignity and structure and a sense of place and a sense of purpose. And so we're going to have to consider new ways of thinking about these problems, like a universal income, review of our work week, how we retrain our young people, how we make everybody an entrepreneur at some level. But we're going to have to worry about economics if we want to get democracy back on track.
And now I have one more chip. Wait, chip. Why did I just say chip? I guess I must be pretty hungry today. Anyways, I got one more clip I like to show you, which is a small piece on Wired where Barack Obama was being part of this interview talking about AI and universal basic income. Now, I think it's interesting when all these took place. They took around, 2016, if I recall this correctly. I think it's interesting you don't have people like Joe Biden or even Pete Buttigieg trying to mention universal basic income if they really believe in the policies that Barack Obama comes up with. Now, maybe they only like older style Barack Obama, but I don't know. I think with where the world's going with automation stuff, that's a bit of an old way of thinking, in my opinion. Don't you think? That you're thinking about how the world used to run in 2008 or whenever Obama was running, but the year is almost 2020 now, 2019? Seriously? I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna roll the clip.
Artificial intelligence has gone from science fiction to almost everyday reality now, and it's changing our lives in really profound ways. I think, personally speaking, it's one of the most exciting developments that I've encountered at Wired. And I'm curious just to turn it over to both of you and to talk about this.
Joey's the expert, so I'm going to defer to him. But my general observation, as you said, is that it is seeping into our lives in all sorts of ways that we just don't notice. And part of the reason is because the way we think about AI is colored by popular culture and by science fiction. And I know it's a familiar distinction to a lot of your readers between general AI and specialized AI. Specialized AI is really the stuff that we've been doing for quite some time. We're just getting better and better at it, and that is figuring out, using algorithms, whether computers can figure out increasingly complex tasks. And we're seeing that happen in every aspect of our lives, from medicine to transportation to how electricity is distributed. And it promises to create a vastly more productive and efficient economy. And if properly harnessed, can generate enormous prosperity for people, opportunity for people, can cure diseases that we haven't seen before, can make us safer because it eliminates inherent human error in a lot of work. But it also has some downsides that we're going to have to figure out in terms of, if not eliminating jobs, requiring people to think differently about their occupations. It could increase inequality, and we've seen that in technology generally and globalization. It can suppress wages. And so we're going to have to develop new social constructs in order to embrace fully and optimize this new technology.
And with that clip out of the way, if you think that I'm just trying to pull strings here to make things appear that things are the way they are, you think I'm taking things out of context, I'd like you to listen to one last video here, which is on Andrew Yang's official Twitter, where basically he recommends the things that I'm talking about, where Obama says these things in 2016. Anyways, let's roll that clip right now.
The freedom dividend would empower people to avoid making terrible decisions based on financial scarcity and month-to-month needs. It would enable people to more effectively transition from shrinking industries and environments to new ones. Versions of the idea have been championed by robust thinkers of every political persuasion for decades, including some of the most admired figures in American life. Barack Obama, 2016. What is indisputable is that as AI gets further incorporated and the society potentially gets wealthier, the link between production and distribution, how much you work, and how much you make gets further and further attenuated. We'll be debating unconditional free money over the next 10 or 20 years.
Now, I'd like to talk a little bit about Pete Buttigieg here to close things off. If he really was copying Obama's policies, ideas, moral, I feel like he should be talking about universal basic income, but he doesn't. Also, neither does former President Joe Biden talk about universal basic income either, considering that he was running with the previous president. It is quite interesting that Joe Biden has not even tried to bring this up, but to me it feels like everyone wants Medicare for all, or you have Bernie Sanders with his college thing. At the end of the day, if you have people who aren't able to learn, or you have people who don't really need Medicare for all, but rather you're now taxing a bunch of middle-class people, because I don't think a wealth tax is going to work like Elizabeth Warren's trying to. I want to see, basically, a man running for president, or a woman. I don't care if whatever they wish to identify as person, but I don't really want to see, like, a sheet or list of empty promises. I don't want to go to a website where I see that there's this wealth tax calculator, and in all honesty, is like, is the math really right? I don't really think. I know Obama did his math right. He has obviously been proven not to work from a perspective that he doesn't believe in something, as far as I've seen. Like, now, you may disagree. You might think that Obama could just be lying about this, or he might just be wanting to get his attention, but in all honesty, he was the former president. I don't think he would need to lie about this, nor does it sound like he is. He's giving really good talkings that he actually does believe in them. And that's why it's hard for me to see someone like Bloomberg try to pretend that he wants to go for universal basic income, because one, he's a billionaire. He would probably be willing to secure as much money as he can and be probably more conservative, in my opinion. And two, I don't really know the guy. Like, I could say that about Yang, like, several months ago, way back, but in all honesty, like, Yang is becoming from the underdog to someone who's gonna be, like, in the top 4 in mine. I think he's gonna keep climbing and rising with where he's going, and I think if he keeps pushing universal basic income, especially when Joe Biden and Buttigieg just simply want to go back to Obama's time, which is simply a fantasy in my opinion, with the advancing technological feats that humanity is achieving. As you can see my point, even Obama doesn't really want to go back to the past because he lives in the future now, and so do you, and so do me. It's quite simple why I chose the name Futurist, because I care about the future and direction that we go in, and I think humanity is a part of that. Obama has been talking about universal basic income since around 2016 in other various interviews, and I could have brought him up here if I wanted to, but I didn't want to bore your time here watching multiple interviews. But if you want to hear more about them, or you're curious about them, I'll put links in the description for these sources I used in this video. And my current issue that I see with all these candidates right now that should be talking about it, like Joe Biden, Buttigieg, in my opinion, they're guilty to ignore to do so, and should be talking about it. Whether that they are meant to oppose Andrew Yang and say that they have a better form of it, or they say that it doesn't work and here's the math. No one's doing that. Like, I think when you have someone who does the math, who has the numbers, who has the people on his side, that it's kind of hard to face an opponent like that. And maybe ignorance is the plan. That, I don't know. If they really support Obama's past ideas, that's fine, but I do think his current ones that he's having are really good, and I don't see why not talk about them or say that you like them or you think be worth looking into. To close things off, I personally believe that what I'm about to talk about is honestly not a fact, so don't take this as one, don't try to misquote me. I think Obama one day told Yang to run when Yang was having me with Barack Obama during his own presidency. And I think that about this because it's a quite interesting affair we have here that Andrew Yang, out of all the talking points he could have used from Obama, he chose universal basic income. And many of his other policies are extremely similar to him. But anyways, that is all the time I have for now. I have been the Futurist putting Andy first, and I will see you all in the next video. And who knows, maybe me and Humanity First here will do a podcast if you're all interested. Let us know down in the comment section below if you would like that. Anyways, I will see you in the next one.
Well, now.